Hey everyone, it's Cody. We're back with another video. In this one, we're going to be giving you a market update. Now that we're getting into the spring months, we're going to be talking a little bit about what's happening in the market, how things are going to shift as we move into spring. That's going to include April, May, and June. We're getting into the point where it's warming up. It's getting nicer outside. More people are going to be listing their homes, and also more people are going to be selling their homes here in the next couple of months. So we expect the market activity to increase over the next little bit, and we're already starting to see that. I've got some crazy stories to tell you about the last couple of homes that I made offers on for clients, and just some of the changes that I'm seeing out there in the market. So with that being said, we're going to jump on my screen here and talk a little bit about that. As we do that, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so, and reach out to me, call, text, or email anytime if you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate here in Utah, anywhere across the entire state. My team and I service the entire state, and we'd love to be a resource for you. We want to be your trusted real estate resource of choice when it comes to buying or selling here in Utah. So with that said, let's go ahead and jump in here. We're going to take a look at interest rates and how they've adjusted over the last little bit, because we've seen some ups and some downs, but right now we're kind of on an upswing, and that's actually causing a little bit of a market pullback despite what we're seeing going into spring. So if we take a look at interest rates back here in February, well, let's actually go back here to December. So in December 12th through the, roughly the 15th, we saw a pretty big drop here. Went from about just over 7% here all the way down to about 6.6%. So we saw about a 0.5% drop into December 14th right here. But ever since then, we've had basically a climb straight back up to exactly where we were, right? We had a couple dips in here where we did get back down to that same range right here in the like 6.6 to 6.7. But for the most part, we've climbed exactly right back to where we were at 7.11%, which is basically what it was right here over at 7.09%. So as far as a 30-year fixed rate mortgage, there hasn't been a whole lot of change there. Let's take a look at the 15-year fixed rate mortgage, because this is actually slowing the market down. Despite going into the spring selling season, because interest rates have actually climbed back up, this is causing just a little bit of downward pressure on the market overall. If we come back here to the 15-year loans, we were looking at roughly 7% back in October. We got down to about 6% right here in December, and right now we're sitting at about 6.5%. So generally you see about 3/4 to a full 1 percentage point difference between a 30-year fix and a 15-year fix, but right now it's only about a 0.5% difference. So it's actually kind of crazy to see that the interest rate is actually not that much different. Usually you see a bigger gap there, but right now it's actually quite close. So in my opinion, it makes much more sense to go with the 30-year loan. If we take a look at FHA loans, let's go ahead and zoom in here a little bit on this. FHA loans have actually not fluctuated quite as much as the rest of the loan options, right? Again, back here in October at the, quote unquote all-time highs, we're at 7.5%, which is still very, very high compared to what we've seen in recent times. But we fell all the way to 6% here in January, and then back up to about 6.5%. So FHA loans have actually been a little bit more favorable over the last couple of months. Let's take a look at jumbo loans. Jumbo loans are kind of in the same boat, right? October, we had 8%. We'll go ahead and zoom in here since we've seen the last couple months, and right now we're sitting at roughly 7.5%. Let's say it's going to depend on which bank you're looking at, which lender you're working with, but for the most part, jumbo loans are not too favorable. FHA and VA are going to be very similar, right? VA is here at 6.6%, whereas FHA was again right in that same range too, right? We're at 6.6%. So almost the exact same between FHA and between VA. So with that being said, let's jump over here and take a look at the market stats. Now this is going to be the market stats for the entire state, right? This is the whole state of Utah. This pulls up the data set since April of 2019. So we can go back here all the way and look at this data if we want to. We're going to scroll down all the way down here to the bottom of the page and take a look at what's happened over the last couple months. So the important things you want to look at, we're looking at the month right here. March, we have a full month of data. We actually ended the month with 3,036 home sales over by the time we got to the end of March. $1.8 billion worth of real estate sales. Our median original listing price was at $500,000. Now the interesting thing about this, look back all the way up here, right? The median listing price here in the state of Utah has really not changed all that much since March of last year. If you look at this column here, we're at 500, 500, 500, 509. We're actually a little higher in June, back to 500, 500, 500. We've been literally 500 every single month since basically going back here to March, we were at 500 here. February and January, we were a little bit lower than that. We were actually higher in 2022, which is actually quite interesting. We hit basically an all-time high for the entire state here in June of 2022 at 525. So that's really when we saw the highest listing prices. Now, taking a look at sales prices, that's this number, that's this column right here. Your median sales price, we're at $495 for the month of March. This is up just slightly from February, which is up from January, which is up from December. Typically, we see prices prices start to increase as we go through the winter months. 475, December and January are always the slowest, right? If we come back here and take a look at last year, December and January, 477 and 455. Last January was the perfect time to buy, at least considering, what's happened in the last couple of years. Again, going back here, December and January, it actually looks like October was the low point here. November was 467, December is 472, January 482. So this is right in that period where prices were actually increasing so much that the seasonality through this time did not matter. So something that's very rare there. But right here, median sales price over the last month was at 495. As of right now, 498 for the month of April, roughly 8 days into the month, and we're already sitting a little bit higher. I expect that we'll probably end the month right around that $500,000 mark. So nothing too surprising there in April. You can also see that days on market, that's this last column right here, median days on market is what this stands for, is also dropping. December, 40 days, January, 46, 42, 34, 28. So days on market is coming down. We're starting to see more and more homes sell much quicker. And actually the last 2 offers that I made on homes actually ended up in multiple offer situations. One of the homes had 5 offers on the property. 4 of them were roughly the same. One was way above everybody else. They made all cash, waived their contingencies, and were able to get the deal done. Now that's kind of crazy to see in this market that we're seeing that type of activity on these homes, right? And this was a nice home. This was an $850,000 home that saw that type of activity. So if you've got a nice home in a nice area, it's going to sell quickly as long as it's priced right and priced aggressively for the market. So keep that in mind whether you're looking to buy or sell real estate. This is not a market where you can go in and you can negotiate really, really hard, right? Maybe on some homes you can do that, but if you've got a nice home in a nice area, there's probably a lower chance you're going to be able to do that, especially as we go into the summer months. Again, if you're on the seller side, if you've got a nice home, it presents well, and you price it fairly, there's a good chance you're going to get an offer within the first couple days, maybe the first couple weeks, but you really shouldn't be sitting on the market for more than a month in that situation. So keep that in mind as you're going out there and you're shopping. There's going to be lots of different scenarios. You really have to rely on somebody, whether it's myself, hopefully it is, or it's going to be somebody else, maybe another agent who has an idea of what's happening in the market on a daily basis and can really guide you through that situation. You want to make sure you're being careful about how you go out there, how you can negotiate. Can you negotiate a lot? Can you not negotiate? What does that look like for each individual home that you're going to be offering on? So if you're interested in that situation and you're concerned about that, please reach out to me. I'd love to be of assistance for you. Please call, text, or email anytime. I love hearing from you guys. I've had hundreds of people reach out from these videos just like this, and I would love to hear from you as well. So let's continue on here and talk a little bit about the sales to original list price, and then we'll narrow this down and look at Salt Lake City specifically, or Salt Lake County rather. I want to look at that as well as Utah County. So median sales to original list price, again, you can see that this is increasing. December, we're at 95%. This basically shows how much you're able to negotiate off of the listing price based on what it was actually listed for. So right, this one here, median sales price was $475 with a list price of $499. Here we climbed to $485 to $499,999, right? So that was 95%, 97, 98, 99, and as of right now, we're sitting at 100%. It's just a little bit below, but basically with the rounding, it comes out to 100%. So you can see how this number adjusts as you move through the months, as we move into the spring months. So if you're getting ready to purchase a home, just be ready to pay closer to the asking price and also have to move much quicker on a home if you see one out there that you like. People are motivated, people are still buying. We're going into an election year, and interest rates, whether you like it or not, they're starting to stabilize a little bit, right? If we look at the 30-year fixed rate mortgage over the last couple months, if we go back all the way to, basically September of 2022, we've had a year and a half of interest rates in this 6 to 7% range, right? They were actually a little bit higher back in October, as well as over here in October of 2022. But basically since like September of that year, we've had interest rates between 6 and 7%, and people are getting used to this, right? So as soon as interest rates go up to 8% and then they come back down, now everybody's always thinking, oh, great, I just got a deal. I'm actually getting a better interest rate than I anticipated, and this is something that I want to make a move on. So just keep that in mind as you're out there shopping. Interest rates are going to, in my opinion, mostly stay in this range. I think we'll probably see them come down closer to 6% as we get closer into the summer months, but we'll have to just wait and see how that shakes out. Okay, let's narrow this in a little bit and look at Salt Lake County, and then we'll jump over and look at Utah County as well. I want to look at these two counties because they're the most populated, and for people who are moving into the state or even just moving in the in the state boundaries, these are going to be the two counties that most people are looking at. Of course, you've got Davis County as well. There's a lot of people people looking up there. We do service that area, but I'd say that probably 80% are looking in Salt Lake or Utah County at this time. So that's the data we're going to look at here. If you want information on Davis County, Weber County, Summit, Wasatch, Tooele, any of the other counties, please reach out to me, and I'd love to get you some specialized information based on what you're looking for and what's going to be most relevant for you. So taking a look at this, March of 2024 in Salt Lake County, we had exactly 1,000 home sales that got reported to the MLS. And again, you can see kind of the same consistent pattern along this data set. Salt Lake County is going to be a little bit above the median list price. It's not the most expensive county, but it's also not the cheapest. We're just slightly above the median. We had a list price going back to January, $515, $545, $529, and then $539. So it kind of fluctuates from month to month. There's a little bit of a gap there, but sales prices have been mostly flat over the last couple months, right? $525, $525, and $530. This number also increasing. This is the sales to list price ratio, 96%, 99, 98, and I think we'll probably stay right in that 98, 99% for the month of April. And also days on market kind of in a downward trend, right? April, we're up just slightly so far, but January, February, and March in a downward trend there. So also something to kind of keep in mind. Let's come back here and modify the search. We're going to come in here. We're going to exclude Salt Lake, and we're going to add in Utah County. And let's take a look at Utah County and how the information changes for what they've got over here. So with this, we had 645 home sales in the month of March. We had a median list price at $500,000. Utah County is a little bit cheaper, and also there's a little bit more negotiation going on in Utah County. Sales price here at $485, $485, and $490. Again, 97% to 98%. So just a little bit lower than the median list price here for Utah County. And days on market has actually been mostly flat, right? We're at 41, 33, 33. So not as much movement in Utah. It seems like Utah County is still a little bit depressed and not moving quite as quick. We started to see this, especially like in Eagle Mountain or Saratoga Springs. We're starting to see prices kind of come down. And we've actually seen days on market climb substantially in some of those areas that are a little bit further out. It seems like now people are willing to, pay a little bit more to be closer to town, and they're not willing to just buy a house that's way far out of town just to be able to get into a home. They're being a little bit more picky. They're waiting a little longer, waiting for prices to come down in order to afford a home that's going to be closer to where they work, or closer to family, or closer to what's important to them. Maybe that's getting outdoors or something else entirely. So with that being said, guys, that wraps up our video. Thanks for watching. Reach out to me if I can be of service to you. Please call, text, or email anytime. I love hearing from you guys who watch these videos. I can't wait to help you who's watching this video right now. Again, my name's Cody. Call, text, or email anytime. My information is here on the screen. And with that said, we'll catch you in the next one.